Finally, I think as I plunk down on the couch after a very full day. The rest of the evening is mine. But when I reach over to my Steam Deck, I see her looking at me. While she has gone half blind with age, her eyes have lost nothing of their insistence. Crap, Mus, I forgot to walk you, didn't I? I ask her, though I already know the answer. Okay then, let's go, I sigh. 15 minutes later, the dog has been walked, and I am back on the couch to play The Wandering Village, a city builder game that was just released. I start the game and go straight to work. Wood needs chopping and berries collecting, so I can feed my villagers and build tents to shield them from the elements high atop the plateau. Of course, as soon as the basics are taken care of, people want better food and shelter, so the whole cycle starts again. I have done these things a million times before in other games of this kind, but what makes the Wandering Village special is Ombu, a giant creature that wanders the wasteland. My group of humans lives on top of it, although it's unclear at first if Ombu really cares about their presence. Yet, once I have built a signal tower, I can ask the creature to do basic things like lying down or going a certain direction. If I take good care of Ombu, it may even be inclined to listen to me, helping me to get the village and the creature itself out of harm's way. Constructing this mini society while traveling on a giant companion is captivating, and time flies by. Suddenly, I feel that something beyond the screen is trying to get my attention. I look up and there she is again. I check the clock. That late already? Okay, you're absolutely right. It's time for your walk and a snack. I sigh as I get up from the couch again. But I'm also thankful to Mus that she has broken Onbu's spell over me. It'll be another full day tomorrow. I really should be off to bed. The premise of this series of video essays is that games are good to think with. I took this idea from a somewhat over-paraphrased quote, "Animals are good to think with," that originally came from Claude Lévi-Strauss, an important 20th century anthropologist. You can find this thought in his book Totemism, but much of his other work, and in fact that of many other cultural anthropologists of the 20th and even 21st century, is centrally focused on our relation with animals. What these studies have shown is that for as long as we have been humans, non-human animals have been at the center of our relations with the cosmos. Indeed, after depictions of ourselves, other animals are perhaps the most prevalent subjects of our imagery. Games are not much different in that regard. Animals are everywhere in them, and how we play with them closely resembles how we have lived together with them for a long time. We hurt them a lot, and sometimes they hurt us. We track them, and sometimes they guide us. We imagine we are them, and that they are us. In our present, most animals are thought of primarily in an economic sense, notably in the bioindustry. This is also reflected in the many games where animals are just another resource, including in many city builders, though interestingly not in the Wandering Village. In the Wandering Village there are no other than human beings except Ombu, your constant companion. The basic relation of you with Ombu is that of care. If you take care of Ombu, it and the village will survive longer and it will listen to you even. If you neglect or abuse Ombu, it will die, and so will your village. With that, the player's relation with Ombu is a specific version of a set of mechanics that game designer Brecode has referred to as tend and befriend. Like fight or flight, which is an evolved behavioral response frequently put to effective use in action games to kick in an adrenaline rush, tend and befriend is a reaction to threatening situations where your body releases oxytocin or vasopressin when you're stressed, followed by opioids. Your pupils dilate, you become fearless, and you are less sensitive to pain. You instinctively want to protect your loved ones, to seek out your allies, and to form new alliances. As Brecode concludes, I don't like adrenaline, but I really, really like this. This feels delicious, luscious, powerful. Judging from how pervasive it is in games, so do many other players. For example, I think there's a direct relation between the tending and befriending that is at the core of the immense success of Animal Crossing New Horizons, and how it let us calm our fears and steel our nerves in the first week of a global and deadly pandemic. RPGs are another game type where tending and friending traditionally have played a major role. next to fight or flight, obviously. Frequently, if you spend the time to tend to the needs of party members, they will get experience or unlock a power or advance a part of the narrative. Dating simulators, where you have to be attentive and committed to a romantic interest, of course have this as their very core mechanic. This is also the type of game where the limits of tend and befriend mechanics become very clear to me personally. I don't really like dating sims precisely because in them the care is so instrumental. While tend and befriend is a useful evolutionary strategy and it can be a fun game design mechanic, ultimately for me personally, it frequently falls flat. The times that I genuinely cared about a game character are few and far between. I like some of my Animal Crossing residents well enough as characters, but for me the real heart of the game lies in the time that I spent with my daughter building her island home during the pandemic. In The Wandering Village, Ombu is an engrossing bit of game design that can flood my body with oxytocin, but its hunger and health dials do not spur me into action like the eyes of my dog do. I'm not a game designer, so I don't presume to know how tend and befriend mechanics can be improved wholesale. In fact, within the current paradigm of tend and befriend, I don't know if it's even possible to do this consistently. When it works for me, even temporarily, it is based on great character writing or smartly interlocking mechanics suited to that specific game concept. Normally, when I pet a dog in a game, it is fun for me, but all the evolutionary induced chemicals, smoke and mirrors don't really make me lose sight of the knowledge that this is really just fun for me, not for the digital dog. To bring back in a core idea from Donna Haraway's Staying with the Trouble, a book that I discussed in the previous Playful Thinking essay, when caring for companions in games, I'm just playing unilaterally, sometimes even just instrumentally. I am not engaging in genuine multi-species companionship. To some extent that is fine. I actually don't want to care all the time when I'm playing a game, actually care, because that takes a lot of work. Even so, play care on computers still feels like too much of a numbers game to me, like making a health bar go up instead of go down by shooting. That's not so strange as the computers on which games are made and played, they don't care back. They are simply souped up calculators playing number games rather than an actual companion with their own needs and capacities for giving. For now at least. And as I already care about games, sometimes a bit too much, perhaps that's a good thing. Mus certainly agrees. Let me know what you think.